All right. Nope, I think the image is still up.
There we go. Good morning, everybody. We'll slowly but surely get that done, right? But we are here. Good morning. Good morning. It's the Morning Vibe, September 3rd, 2021, Friday. Dr. Vibe here, host, producer, award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. And I host the only online broadcast in the world for dads and fathers that's sponsored by Dove Men Care. It's also co-sponsored by Dad Central, Canada's national fatherhood. I don't know if it's dad or dad. Well, whatever. You know what it is.
Dad
Canada's
Central,
national fatherhood organization. Through my working with those organizations, I've been able to reach out to over 75,000 fathers directly or indirectly this year, and we're going for more because I believe the better fathers are, the better they are for their family, better they are for their community, better, and also for themselves and for the world. So there you go. And I am the board chair for the Global Food and Drink Initiative, a multimedia not-for-profit that showcases Blacks in the diaspora. They're doing their thing in food, drink, and travel. Ryan Knight, good morning.
Good day, sir. Always good to see you. Enjoying the morning vibe just before the weekend. For those that don't know me, my name is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. We work with entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage, really to figure out what stage the business is in today and help them create a blueprint to scale it up exponentially. And also, I'm an entrepreneur myself. I run a company called Detailing Nights, a social enterprise that does mobile waterless car cleaning. We just did our final hires. So we have our last youth for our entrepreneurship term. So they get to work with us as a /employee /entrepreneur. So they get paid and they get to go through what it's like to work with Detailing Nights, but at the same time, learn about entrepreneurship and really get that taste of what running your own business is like. So send out some warm wishes to our new recruits. They'll be with us for the next 10 weeks. And I know they'll be in school too. So it's kind of like our part-time school program.
There we go. Okay. Yeah. So they're going to be balancing two things at once.
Yeah. Both of them are in high school. So it's pretty love to see them taking on the responsibility.
And what's been going on this week?
This week.
Oh
man.
Oh, that's loaded. That's a loaded question.
So this week had a few announcements that were supposed to be happening. So there are a lot of people on the BBPA's BAIDS announcement that unfortunately didn't have the announcement in it. So they were talking about their grant program, and I thought they were going to announce the funding that they were getting from FedDev. They didn't announce that. I also thought they were going to announce the people that got the grants. So they said there's 30 out of the 200 that applied that have gone all the way through. They didn't quite get to it, so they're going to announce it later. I think they said
when's later?
There was no specific date. It was they'll work on an email to go out
someday.
Like the government says, in the few weeks to come. I love that line. So yeah, and I was a bit disappointed for two reasons. One, I'm a person that applied. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm like, hey, let me put in my application for Bades and see. And then when you get an email that says big announcement, if you apply to Bades, you must attend. So 130 plus people attended, and then they didn't really announce anything. And this is why I laughed, because unfortunately it turned into them talking about the entrepreneurs saying they're not ready when they're applying for Bades, but Bades is designed for entrepreneurs to help them get ready. So I didn't understand why they were taking this approach. At the beginning of the meeting, they were asking, oh, do you think that board members at BBPA are getting paid? I was like, what does that have to do with anything? So it opened up a lot of conversation that I don't think they wanted to have. So then it turned more into a focus group. It was like, okay, what's going on and what are the questions that are asked? And I was like, hold on, you need to control the narrative of this announcement. But then it kind of got off track. So I'm hoping that they're going to be able to come better, because they have 200 people in the queue, and I'm sure a lot more are going to be coming in. So they have to be able to get through these assessments. And since November of last year till now, they've only assessed 30. So to me, that is a bad ratio. So let's get better at that. And again, I'm not calling people out because I want to be mean. I'm just observing what is being done. So
okay, can I? So not only you're Mr. Mead, business and media superstar. Now you're going to become Mr. Math educator. How many people applied for this program?
They said they're at 200.
So this is different than the 12,000 others?
Yes. And then that's what happened on the call too, because people were mixing it up with FACE. So the FACE loan is a different program.
Okay.
And the BBPA Bades.
Okay. So is there any correlation between Bades and FACE?
So what's supposed to happen is people that go through the BBPA Bades would get prepared so that they have a business plan, they have their financials,
right,
and then it makes them better to apply for FACE.
Okay.
And then
so
also vice versa. So
okay.
if a person applies and they're not ready, FACE would send them to Bades or BBPA to get better coaching.
Okay, so let me understand and correct me if I'm wrong. 200 businesses applied.
Yes.
30 allegedly received.
Not
or
received.
Qualified.
Yes, they've they've been assessed and are ready for the next stage.
Hasn't been announced who the 30 are.
No. So that's what I think the announcement was supposed to be. And it kind of got derailed. So they didn't quite get there.
And no data has been given when the 30 for the next step, not even to get, for the next step.
Right. Not yet. And I haven't checked my email this morning, so maybe it went out. And maybe I'm not one of the 30, so maybe I didn't get that email, because I did get the email saying we're still assessing your application, so stay tuned. So I'm pretty sure I wasn't one of the 30 that got approved yet.
Okay, so if anyone is part of the Bades program and they had if you've received an email that you qualify the next step, could you please, I'm going to put my email address on the Facebook, on my Facebook timeline or comments here, or I'll also put it in my YouTube. You don't, I'd like to speak with you. We don't have to give it, you don't have to give your name or anything. I just want to know, as Marvin Gaye would say, what's going on?
Also, if you've applied for the FACE loan, please reach out, because I'm getting a lot of disheartening calls. I mean, people that are really emotional and actually crying, trying to figure out how to navigate getting this loan. And some people are feeling like they're being treated worse than when they go through the banking system. And that's the exact opposite of what this program was supposed to be about. It came to be because of our barriers going through the banking system. And now people are calling me, telling me that it's like a worse process. So, and again, let's say I've talked to less than 100 people. So I haven't come across anybody that's had a positive interaction with Face getting their loan. If there are others that have applied and got their money, please let us know so that we can promote this thing as being effective. Right now, it seems like they're delaying people getting their money for a reason that I don't know.
Okay, so another question that I have then, concern. It seems one of the challenges that's been consistent for the last little while is whatever organization we're talking about doesn't have the support to handle the demand. It seems to be a consistent theme with all these things going on. Have any of these organizations, BAIDS, FACE, whoever's behind them, said that they are hiring more people to do customer support? Because my question is, and there's another organization that approached me about this situation earlier in the week. My question is, why are you doing customer support for them?
Yeah, I don't know if
sorry to interrupt again, but the inquiries you get are about their organizations. You have nothing to do with those organizations.
So true.
So why are you? I had this conversation yesterday with someone. Why are you doing their work?
And really having to try to help them keep the faith and be like, listen, don't give up on the FACE loan. This isn't the end. Let's figure out what they asked for. Let's get it done. And people are just like throwing up their hands and saying, you know what? This has been too long. I applied on the day, May 31st, that the application was open. And it's been, I think, close to 70 plus days later. And they can't get direct communication. So like you said, we're doing the customer service, trying to save face for the program. The pun, I apologize for the pun. But and I haven't seen them doing mass hiring. And so BBPA, they have 200 in the queue. On the call, they said they have a bottleneck. They've had a bottleneck since 3 months ago. They've had a bottleneck since November. So when we reach out as ACBN and other organizations that say, activate the community, we are here, we want to volunteer, we want to help, they will say yes on the phone, but then not really put it into action. So I don't know, are they happy with the bottleneck? They shouldn't be. And they don't want to bring on the additional staff that they have funding for, and they're not doing it.
So Christopher Lawrence, Chris asks, is this program for not-for-profit or for-profit businesses, the BAIDS program?
They said both nonprofits and for-profits can apply for the BAIDS program.
This is the second time I'm hearing this situation in less than 24 hours. And here's some Pharaoh. Thank you. And I don't know if you've been on before, but if this is your first time, thank you. If not, good question here saying the OFC sent the offer to help and no one responded.
Exact same. Because as community, and like you said, we're doing the groundwork, getting these calls. People are trying to figure out what's going on. So we'll see that as a gap and say, you know what? Let's reach out to these people and help them get through the bottleneck. Because OFC, and for those that don't know, is One Full Circle in Montreal. They've been doing the work similar to what BAIDS is trying to do from time. And they have.
I remember Pharaoh now. My apologies, Pharaoh. No, I need to know what OFC stands for, the acronym. So I got it now. Go ahead.
And that's where activate people in the community that have been already doing the work, that we know how to assess business plans. We know how to read through an application and ask questions to the entrepreneur to figure out like really what stage they're in and how we can get them to the next milestone. These are things that are not new. But then when we reach out, and exactly like Pharaoh said, nobody even responds. They might answer your email, but it's more like don't worry, we got this.
I want to ask Pharaoh, when did you reach out to these organizations? I'd like to know, and how long ago did you reach out? Just want to see how long you reached out and you got no answer. I'd just be very interested to know. So I know you'll answer via the Facebook page. Just be interested to know. But I really think if you were, I'm glad you're not a bad guy, because if you were a bad guy says, okay, here's my invoice for doing the work for you.
Right. Oh, true. Yes, for answering all these calls, because yeah, who has time for that?
I just really don't. I'm really. I need to know the answer to this question, that before these initiatives went out in the planning stages, did these organizations not think they'd get a deluge
Well, and that's where
of requests? And you have to have the infrastructure. You need to have the support, the back end, the customer, like a toll-free phone number. And forget the email thing. Have a toll-free number. Now, again, I'm making this up. Allegedly, these organizations got money. Allegedly.
Well, and I haven't seen Face's statements, but BBPA had their AGM. You see their financial statements. $1+ million are on the books. So from what it looks like on paper, money is there to resource yourself enough to handle whatever bottleneck that you're seeing. And they have paid staff. So don't ask us about your board members that are volunteering. Yes, we all know board members volunteer, but there's staff there that can be doing this work that for some reason can only assess one entrepreneur per week. That doesn't work.
Pharaoh's saying he reached out to them on July 26th. No answer.
So a full month later.
Yep. More than a month.
Like, if you brought on the OFC's help, that bottleneck is done. Like, you bring on ACBN, OFC, let's say Empowered for X, even Sheridan College, we have a partnership with them through their EDGE program. We can get the bodies to get through the bottleneck so that entrepreneurs get answers quickly, get to the next phase, which is actually getting the service provider to work on whatever services that they need. Let's get good at this stuff. Like, let's not be able, don't give Ryan Knight ammunition to talk about a bad process. Let's build a good process together, and then entrepreneurs are better for it. But instead, it's like the opposite.
I don't, to me, at the end of the day, you're dealing with people's lives.
Right.
And you're dealing with the future of Black Canadians, and also other people are watching.
Yes.
Right. So I hope that these organizations realize that there are a lot of eyes on them, and whatever these eyes and minds think will either have a good or positive reflection on the rest of us.
Very true.
Like it or not, this is a big opportunity here. And again, who knows what the future of all this stuff will be post-election.
Right. And actually, that reminds me of like the topic that I was thinking of, because I've seen a lot of our organizations take a strong stand either for or against the vaccinations, and talking about, like, oh man, it's tricky because this election seems like it's going to be very focused on like how different parties deal with the COVID-19 and vaccination. So I'm curious, like, why organizations would take a stand one way or the other, and if it's been positive or negative. Because ACBN, we haven't said one way or the other, but we get calls too saying like, hey, I heard, oh man, in our WhatsApp chat, it goes crazy talking about, hey, this is a reason why to get the vaccine. And then it's like, this is a reason why not to get the vaccine. So for me, it's difficult to have that conversation. And I've seen a lot of well, not a lot. I've seen two friendships that have broken because of just arguing back and forth about the vaccine. So that I wanted to actually ask you and see what kind of conversations you're hearing in the community about going to get the vaccine.
The majority of conversations that I've been part of has said people should get. I know people who have lost relatives, lost people that they know because of it. To me, this is a distraction. right? At the end of the day, we got to really deal with some things here, folks. So whether you're for it or against it, we got bigger things to deal with, right? The energy you're spending on people are spending, oh, on this, on that. You know, we have an election coming up. Are you even going to vote?
Right.
All right. Yes, I know. And a lot of people have perished and got sick because of it. Yes. And definitely it's a whole other conversation. We are in a capitalistic society. And obviously there's a lot of money being made out of this. But right now, if you're melanated, you don't got time to be fighting whether it's good for you. We got bigger challenges right now. Just in my opinion. Like now, Tim says BBA until last year ran 3 programs for decades. I think they scaled up too fast to running over 22 programs in just 22 programs?
Yes, that's what they mentioned on the announcement, is saying like, hey, they mentioned, hey, up till 2018, they only had the 3 programs, which was Harry Jerome's Youth Scholarship and the Youth Conference. And then now the last, I guess, 2 to 3 years, they ramped up to 22. So just like Tim's saying, that probably is causing bandwidth issues. But for me, the only thing I would push back is that they have funding. It's not like they're running 22 programs for free. They have funding to staff and make sure that these programs run. So if you're going to put a program on the table, you have staff that can run it. That program shouldn't have transparency issues. Like, you should be able to deliver. And then I guess to Tim's point, if you can't deliver, you have to pair off some of those programs. Like, all 22 can't run at the same time. That doesn't make sense. Like, there needs to be
only multi-million-dollar corporations run 22 programs at a time.
Yeah. So,
and I don't even know too many multi-million corporations that run 22 programs at a time. Just a thought.
I don't even think Procter and Gamble has 22 programs at once. But to say, if that's true and you're running 22, and I would love to see that list, because hey, I'm an entrepreneur. I want to sign up for some of these things, except for Boss Up Women. I know that's for women only. So if you're running 22, maybe it's time to pare it back. And BAIDS, to me, should be the highest priority, because that's actually gonna get tangible support to entrepreneurs that will get these things done for them. And I'm using, let's say, the business plan, for example. If an entrepreneur needs to get money, they will come to BAIDS or BBPA and say, hey, I heard about BAIDS. I'd like to sign up. I need a business plan because I heard about this FACE loan that I can get up to $250,000, but they're asking for a proper business plan. BAIDS has the ability to get a person that can help that entrepreneur with their business plan, get it done, and then they can go for the funding. That, to me, is like the path to getting money could start right at BAIDS. An entrepreneur, even for ACBN, we can say, hey, go here. And we've been saying this, go to the BBPA, get signed up, because they can help you get those things done. A marketing strategy, accounting and your financials, all those things is what's been promised by the BBPA through this program. But then every time they do an announcement, they kick the can down the road. Last time it was, oh, by July, we're going to get through the bottleneck. Then it was, by the end of August, we're going to get all the assessments done. The email that I got said all assessments have been done. I should actually pull it up, because it said in the email, big announcement, all the assessments have been done. Everybody that has applied, come on to this call. And that's not true. And then on the call, they say, oh, out of the 200, we've only assessed 30. So, like, just tell the truth. Don't like, we are adults. We're entrepreneurs. One, we're busy. And two, we don't have time to try and figure out what is actually happening. Just lay it out straight. And they couldn't do that. And so people came on the call expecting, hey, I'm going to hear where I'm at.
What was the live interaction by the people who attended it? Were any people upset?
I'll say it was a mix because, people are praising the BBPA saying, hey, thank you for putting together this program, which is true. And hey, I am a big supporter of the program. We've done like full webinars and workshops helping people fill out the forms. Anytime a person calls in, if they fill out our assessment, we tell them about BAIDS and the BBPA program because like I said, I feel like it could be the best first step for an entrepreneur. But then on the comments, you'll get the mix. It's like a person praising, like, hey, thanks for the program. And then it's a person, hey, I applied and haven't heard anything. And then somebody asks a question about the questions that are asked. And then that took an hour to kind of flush out. I was like, okay, why are you getting defensive about a person asking about the process? First of all, that conversation should have happened a long time ago if you were like reaching out to people that apply and asking them their feedback. You would have heard this, like it wasn't time for a focus group. I feel like the event turned into a focus group where people are like giving suggestions on the application and this and that. I was like, that wasn't the time for that. At the beginning of the session, the gentleman said, we have 30 that we've assessed and we are going to let you know about them. And then they didn't.
Okay.
So that to me is like a waste of time.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's go to commercial break because this seems going to be like the never ending story. There was an old song called Never. I can't sing, folks, but just a song called The Never Ending Story. And this is unfortunate. So let's go to break and see what we will chat about on the other side. You're with Dr. Vibe, Ryan Knight, Morning Vibes, live September 3rd, broadcasting on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, all over the place. We'll be back in just a second.
Hi, my name is Ryan Oneil Knight, the founder of Detailing Nights and one of the founding members of ACBN Canada. Our vision is to help unite and educate Afrocentric entrepreneurs so they can grow their businesses in a successful and sustainable way. We're helping businesses increase their sales and operations by providing networking, training, and consulting. So as a business owner myself, I found it difficult to find like-minded individuals, especially in my own community, that were doing things on a regular basis to help our businesses grow. ACBN Canada is that solution. We've created this community to surround your business with support to help you increase your sales and your profits. With expert workshops and masterminds to help keep you accountable, come and join us and really get to the next level.
We are back. We are back, folks. And thank everyone for taking the time. I know it's coming up, start of a long weekend, so I don't know who's going to be there and who's not going to be there. But summer is done. Somewhat meteorologically, summer is done. Other people think, it's not over until September 22nd. Ryan, question: What is the state in your mind of the environment at the end of the summer? What's the environment looking like?
Are we talking about climate change or are we talking about just
business, Black Canadian environment, the Black Canadian environment from your lens?
You know what? I'm seeing that people are noticing, or I want to say assuming, we are banking that we're not going into another lockdown. So people have, I feel like, put like full court press, like their business is running. They're not in fear of now, if the start and stop, it's like, okay, what do I have to do to either pivot the business? And a lot of those conversations were happening before, but I feel like before, people still had in the back of their mind, okay, but if I go into this full, like opening back our restaurant, if we open back our brick and mortar store, or even just whatever they're doing, like a lot of tutors we were talking to, and there's like, but if I start accepting patients or accepting clients and then we go into a shutdown or this Delta thing is out there, I'm getting the feeling that people are comfortable getting to work. Like they're not half in, half out anymore. It's, hey, I'm running my business. I'm not worried about Delta. I feel like enough people are vaccinated. The stats are showing a lot of unvaccinated people are the ones getting sick now and going into the hospital. So those that are vaccinated feel like, hey, I'm good. Hugs and kisses for everybody. And then those that are unvaccinated feel like, okay, I just have to be mindful that I can't just be like all willy-nilly going anywhere with a lot of people, and really taking it seriously to like have their mask and not talk to just anybody and go to big parties.
Well, I'm hoping and praying that there is another lockdown, because if it is, it'll be catastrophic for Black business. And it's not a good situation. I think at the end of summer 2021, I have as many questions as I had at the beginning of summer 2021, and more questions about our people. There are more and more questions I have. And again, I come back to my core three: trauma, repetition, symbolism. And we have to control our own selves, people. We really have to get, I've had two situations over the last week that made me shake my head. And another thing I say is, the more I know, the less I understand.
Right. But then that symbolism is what I feel we have to start calling out, because if you look at like COVID response to the Black business community, it was non-existent. There was no specific COVID relief for Black businesses that came from this federal government. So now going forward, all that trauma that we've been through, we got symbolism to try and kind of curb us, and hey, you could say keep us at bay and try to hold on to the vote. But tangible support that got to entrepreneurs' bank accounts for specific to the Black community did not exist. It might have been talked about, but it actually did not happen. So now going forward from September 2021.
Back to school next week, and people are going to be more and more indoors. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens between now and now and the end of this year. It heightens the stakes for Black Canadians. The stakes have just got even higher.
100%. And that's where, hey, anything that's been talked about to support Black business, there needs to be advocacy to get those things actually done. And if there's no advocacy, that's where they can just use and they've been using it for like 50 plus years, where they talk about and say, hey, we're going to help, but then real tangible change doesn't happen. There's no actual infrastructure that's built that have a long-term effect. It's always like Band-Aid solutions. And we should be done with Band-Aid solutions. Even like a loan program is a Band-Aid solution. Us getting support to build our own infrastructure like a credit union or a bank, that has a macro level effect and actually has a long-term positive impact in the community, much more than 1 to 30 entrepreneurs getting X amount of money. We need to be able to so this was something great that happened this week. Dream Legacy Foundation had their event on Tuesday about circulating the Black dollar. And so I brought up on that call, right now there's 30 organizations that got up to $59 million.
When is that going to happen? Because it's symbolism to me
so
right
far,
now.
It's symbolism, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing has been flown.
So maybe you should say there was an announcement that 30 organizations are going to be getting.
Agreed, yes. So the announcement that was made about potentially this money flowing to 30 organizations, when it does flow, what bank are we going to put it in? And
so here's another question. You said another very key word, when, question mark. Because realize we do have a federal election, right? If another party gets in, well, let me just put out there, if the conservatives get in, I've been hearing some very interesting back channel commentary about that money, when it would get there,
if ever.
Because when another party gets in power, what they want to do is they want to review programs.
Very true. Yes.
So unless and you don't have to say it live here unless you've been guaranteed in writing that you're going to get this money and when. If it's a government thing, another party, when parties get in power, the first thing they want to review the books. They want to see what's going on.
Oh yeah, and nothing is guaranteed. No money has flowed yet, no percentage. So for me, it's not real until it's in the bank and spent.
Hashtag, what's my hashtag with that?
What, cut the check?
Thank you.
Or get the bag.
Hashtag cut the check.
And so that's where, when you look at behavior, you get the feeling that they're procrastinating for some reason. And I've seen money that's been promised get out the door a lot faster than the money that was promised for the Black community, and how slow it's been to get out the door. Same thing with the FACE Coalition. They were promised money. We have to see, are they actually getting it? Who can we ask these questions to? Because maybe that's the cause of the bottleneck. For ACBN, we've been promised again. We haven't gotten the money yet. These other 30 orgs, I'm not exactly sure their situation, but
I can pretty much tell you, I'm almost 100% sure none of you have received any money.
So that's where we have to look at that behavior and say, what is the holdup? Across Canada, it's the same. So why is the government, or the government entities, the regional development agencies like FedDev is here in Ontario, and there's different ones across Canada, why is it taking so long to get these agreements signed and to make the money flow out? I can only ask the question. We'll see if they actually answer. And actually, that reminds me, I need to follow up with them today to see what is going on and what is the process. If there is a change in government, how does that affect this program? Even if there's no change in government, when is the money going to flow out? To me, that question is valid regardless of who comes into power. But now we have to be willing to ask the question. And from my experience, the Black community doesn't push back. When we get promised money, we get very complacent. We get very
symbolism.
The symbolism seems to keep us from that true advocacy and true pressure. And so I'm hoping, hey, and maybe that's happening with me. It's like, hey, they promise you 1.3 million. Suddenly you get more timid and you're defending them, and you're like, oh, but they did promise us a thing. So you don't really write, you stop writing articles. But either is that my price? Is that amount of money what it costs to keep Ryan quiet? Or do we still have to observe and call these things out? If no money is in the bank, what are we protecting? We will protect a party based on promises. That to me is fundamentally flawed. And I need to talk to my conservative people. What is your plan for the Black community? You can get some votes. Yo, somebody get a message to O'Toole and his team.
They don't care, but you got to realize something. Really and truly, they don't need Black votes.
Well, that is to be determined because they lost the last two elections. So let's not say that.
Yeah,
they did lose.
But remember, just numbers wise, look, it's the forecast is they're going to win this election.
Mm-hmm.
People have to realize a few weeks ago, or maybe the last month or so, and I don't know if I brought it up, there was a provincial election in Nova Scotia.
Mm-hmm.
The gentleman who was premier was a Liberal. He was in there for 6 months. He called an election after 6 months.
Really?
The Liberal Party got decimated.
Right.
So it's now a Conservative Party that runs Nova Scotia. One of my regular contributors who lives there saying, I wonder if this election, is that a forecast of a white backlash for this election? Look at these group of people are following the Prime Minister every press conference he's giving.
He's having a rough go of it.
Right? Sounds very reminiscent of a country that we live north of. Right? It would be a very good investigative journalism. And I saw an article, I didn't read into it. Who is paying for these people to do this?
Oh boy. Well, and that is reminiscent of the same types of conversations that were happening south. Is this an actual party trick where they get people or pay people, and even not the party itself, but supporters of the party?
Yeah, well,
sure people are there.
I hope that the media,
Mm-hmm.
that media, someone does an investigative report on where are they getting the support from. I did see an article, and I just saw it. I saw the face of an article saying that was in the Toronto Star saying this is one of the key ladies behind these protests. It's a white lady who lives just north of Toronto in Markham. White lady.
All right.
So
you see that?
Be careful, Black women, of your white lady allies. Well, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, the protesting, and it's like mega anti-vaccination protests and anti-mask and anti-vaccine passport. And that's where I asked the question, is the vaccine passport the right thing for a political party to stamp their flag on?
You know who's very blessed is the premier of this province, because if Mr. Ford had an election now, that would be interesting.
Hey, it's not far away.
Yeah, but by that time, because most people's memories are short, but we'll see. We'll see how much backlash he go, because they don't go till the polls till next year. They don't have to go till, I think, mid to late next year. So
yeah,
he has
like
some
June.
time.
But the campaigning would start by beginning of the year. So now him making this determination now is what his platform is going to be based on. Unless he's able to change the narrative. And like you said, by the end of the year, people are comfortable with the new rules and we've forgotten who even came up with it. It's just a way of life. But I don't know if people will forget, because if there's
some people won't forget because they won't have any business anymore, and they're never going to forget. They're never going to forgive for that, right?
Exactly.
They're not going to. The whole area of like all these places in Ontario are going to need to have passports, but retail stores don't, or that like employees don't have to. They don't have to say they're vaccinated. It's just a little bit blurry. And
trying to play both sides, it won't work. You have to come down on one side, especially when you're talking about vaccinations. And hey, you can say the schools do it. We used to have our yellow vaccine little card thing. If you didn't have it, you'd have to get like special exemption, or you couldn't come back to school if it wasn't up to date. Now it seems like there's an adult version. And so are we okay with having an adult version of that vaccine notebook to say, hey, our shots are up to date just to get into a store? Like that yellow passport doesn't keep you out of stores. Like that's the difference that people aren't seeing when they will post on Facebook, oh yeah, but we've had a vaccine thing from how long ago, and we don't know what's in any of these vaccines. True, but not getting those other ones never kept us from traveling. I'm pretty sure they never kept us from going in and shopping. They never kept you from work. Work never asked you if you're up to date on your vaccinations. So now all of that has changed. All that has now become, if you're not vaccinated, you can't like live just the life that you were living. Now you need a passport in order to live it, to go to work, to go shop, and to travel. That is new territory. Yeah. So I don't know how well that's going to go over.
Yeah. Well, we're going to start winding it down because, as you can tell by Ryan's, he usually has his baseball shirt on Friday, so he doesn't have his baseball shirt today. So, top of the hour is meeting time. Yes. ACBN Canada on Facebook saying new parties, same tricks. No, it's same parties, same tricks. That's really and truly. It hasn't changed that much. Yes. Also saying some won't forget, but they'll adapt. And then Tammy, hey Tammy, thanks for your comment. History always repeats itself. Again, trauma repetition, symbolism.
You
It's
gotta call
like
out the
just
symbolism.
folks who are watching this, whenever you see now things that are not correct in the Black environment, think about, is there trauma? Is there repetition? Is there symbolism? Or there's a combination of all three? If you look, when I look at things that way, I always am able to pick out at least one of those things. And this, the trauma piece, there's many melanated people around the world who are suffering from trauma in one form or another. And we're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. That's a definition of insanity. And too many of us love the show. You know, here's a perfect example. Is this milk crate challenge?
Oh,
right?
Dear.
Right.
I don't even understand.
Right. Now here's the funny thing. Are they targeting Black environments to do this? Because I don't go on to, I just read reports and I see the odd video of it. But why do you always say I'm only seeing people that look like us that are doing that? And what's even funnier is the people who fall off and hurt themselves, do they have any insurance?
Oh, jeez. Right. God. Hey,
like you're doing something that's risky, and if you get hurt, you don't even got insurance to protect you, right? So you got men and women that may have kids, they fall off, hurt themselves, they don't have life insurance. Say they died, there's nothing they're leaving for their kids to sustain legacy, sustainability. Don't start me on that was now.
Hey, TikTok will come out with their own insurance because the challenges just keep getting more ridiculous.
Yeah, but why are we so anxious to hop on the bandwagon to do this thing? Symbolism, to get your views,
to get the hits, to get the likes. Hey, that dopamine hit.
So when you're in the hospital all laid up, oh, how many views did my thing get?
But it's not a lie. It's true.
I know.
They'll be in the hospital checking.
I know.
This is like,
I know.
This isn't hypothetical.
So no, I had to bring that one up for folks because I don't. As I said, the more I know, the less I understand. What's going on in your weekend, Mr. Knight?
This weekend, what is happening? So some bad news. My aunt did pass away. So we have her funeral on Saturday. And then, Sunday we'll just be off again just to recalibrate. But yeah, we'll see some families coming up from the States. So be able to see them and catch up and talk about the good times. She always used to make me laugh every time I saw her. So that's how I would remember my aunt. It's funny, I call her Aunt Sis. I didn't learn her real name until I was like 25.
Well, memories and condolences to her. I think because of that, Ryan, we're not going to broadcast on Monday. I think
it's a holiday too, so we'll.
Yeah. So I don't know. I may run a replay, but we're not. We'll take this Monday off, folks. I'll do something over the weekend. Just post something up via video on all the challenges to say FYI, we're not. I may put up a replay, may not, but so if you're watching this live or on the replay, we won't broadcast live on Monday. Now I can change my mind, but I don't think so. And we want Ryan to have some family time. And I'm going to take a break.
Yes.
I don't know how many, we've done a whole pile of programs. I think this weekend we're going to take a break because this leads into my closing thing. I'm going to put a challenge out to everyone this long weekend. It's the end of the week, etc., etc. This weekend, I want everyone who's watching this live or on the replay, what are 3 things you need to remove from your life to be more productive? And what are 3 things you need to add or accelerate in your life to be more productive?
Okay.
So what do you need to take away? And don't spend too much time working this weekend. Spend some time in doing some recollecting. And say, what are some 3 things I can come out of the weekend I don't want to do anymore that will add to my life? And then what that'll help me add to my life. And it's almost like, I don't have one, but it's like if you have kids and they're young kids, they have their backpacks for their first day of school. What are some of the things that you can take out of your backpack? And what are things you can add to your backpack?
Right. I like that.
So if anyone wants to do that and share it with us, that means we won't be back on till next Friday. And I have a feeling one of the candidates in the election, a lady named Opa Day, who joined us via message, was watching the last conversation. She reached out to me. So we're trying to schedule her to come on next Friday. And she's an independent candidate in the GTA running for the election, but we're hoping to have her come on the program to talk about the election from her lens.
Solid. And we did hear back from Daniela Johnson as well. They were interested in coming on. So maybe that Friday as well. I'll see if
let's coordinate. We'll see if we either get both of them on or come on and give their perspectives. That'd be great, because by next Friday there'll only be 10 days left in the election.
Ooh, that's tight.
10 and I haven't read any reports on how the French debate went last night. There was
was that last night? I missed it. I gotta
the French
check
debate
that.
was last night, so I'll be interested to see how it came out. But
the translation from Pharaoh. Need some help there.
There you go. So yeah, folks. Well, look, thank you for hanging out with us as usual. As always, thanks for your support. It's appreciated, not taken for granted. We love doing it, and thanks for enjoying the summer with us.
Yeah,
we've had
much appreciated.
We've had a great summer hanging out with you, and we're excited about the fall. A lot of interesting things coming up. And as usual, reach out to us. You can catch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Facebook and YouTube page. You can also catch replays of it on the ACBN Facebook page and also Ryan's YouTube. No, not YouTube. Yeah, YouTube page. Yeah, his YouTube page. So that's it. Hope you enjoy the weather, though I think in Toronto they're supposed to get some rain during the weekend, but you know what? It's all good. It's all good. All right, folks. God bless. Peace and well. Keep the faith. Remember, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, respect, and remember to give yourselves grace. Be well. Keep the faith. Walk good.